Whenever my friends ask me why I quit smoking, I share my story, what happens with me when I try to smoke. So at first I buy a cigarette, then whenever I put it in my mouth in order to smoke it, that's where the mess happens. The cigarette always turns upside down. No matter how many times I try to fix it, it always turns upside down, which is of course a very big headache for me because I'm trying to smoke and it always turns upside down. Now when I turn the cigarette with patience, it still again turns upside down, which is of course hilarious, and for me it's frustrated. So I decide to turn the cigarette again, but since after turning I know that this is not going to work because it didn't work the last time, I try to push the entire cigarette in, leaving the filter, which is of course from the point where the person is going to smoke, but when I try to put it in my mouth, the entire cigarette vanishes, and that's how I waste my money and I stopped smoking. So that is the story of me why I stopped smoking, and you can share this in a cool story mode way that I just showed you. But as the last vanished, as you saw, it was a little bit clumsy because of the camera angle. While you're going to perform this in front of the spectator, there is not going to be any kind of fixed frame within which you have to perform, so for that you are not going to mess up. So let's see how you can do it. This trick is very easy to do. All you have to do is just follow my instructions and everything will be clear as water. So basically you're just going to take a cigarette, or maybe if you don't have a cigarette, you can take a pencil of the same size and practice it. And for the tutorial, just imagine these two fingers to be my lips so that you can follow what's happening. So at first you're going to hold the cigarette like that. After you borrowed it from the spectator, you're going to hold the cigarette like that, and then you're just going to put it inside your lips, or maybe put it inside your mouth casually, just like that. And you're going to do that intentionally. You're going to put this cigarette upside down, and then you're going to pretend that you have done it accidentally, and that's where the trick actually starts, or the routine actually starts. So from this point, all you're going to do is you're going to just make it look like that you're turning this cigarette, but it is not turning and it is going in the same direction as it is. So basically for the first move, all you're doing is you're putting your index finger on the bottom and the middle finger on the top, and then you're going to bring the cigarette out of your mouth with these two fingers, and then all you need to do is just move these two fingers to the opposite positions, and the cigarette is going to turn itself to the other side. And immediately after that, all you're going to do is you're going to use your thumb to just turn the cigarette along with the fingers. And after that, all you're going to do is you're going to turn the wrist upside down, just like that. So all of these moves, when you put them together, it should look like that. This cigarette, you have only turned it once, but it actually ended up in the same exact position. Now the cigarette is turning twice, but for the spectator it's a visual illusion because the hand or the wrist is a bigger object, and since you're turning your hand at the same time while you're turning the cigarette, it looks like that you have just turned the cigarette only once, but the cigarette is ending up in the same exact position, and that's the illusion that you're going to play. So that's the first move. Now you have to practice this move in order to do it very fluently, because at first it's going to be a little difficult in order to get into the exact motion, because not everyone is used to this. But after you get into this motion, you'll be able to do it smoothly. The next move is you're going to take out the cigarette, and then you're going to hold it with one of your fingers, just like that, and then you're going to turn the cigarette with the other finger so that it is right now in the exact same position that you want it to be, or that how people want it to be in order to smoke. Now from this position, you're again going to turn the cigarette before you're putting it in your mouth, and you're going to do that by just grabbing the top part with these two fingers, the index and the middle finger, and the bottom part with your thumb. So when you just grab this these two parts just like that, after leaving the cigarette, if you leave your middle finger, the cigarette is again going to turn upside down. So basically that's what you're going to do, and you're going to put your cigarette inside your mouth. So that's the second one. And for the third one, which I'm of course not going to discuss in this video because I've already made a tutorial for it, and the tutorial will be linked in the description, so you can go and check that out. But here I'm just going to show you what exactly happens. So for the third time, what I do is I bring out the cigarette, I again turn it just like that, and then I do this cigarette vanish that I taught you in my last video. So the cigarette, it gets pumped in this hand, and you actually pretend to put the cigarette inside your mouth. So basically what happens is you keep the filter on the outside, so it looks to the audience that you're keeping the filter only on the outside so that you can get a grip of it, and you finally push the cigarette in. But all you do is basically palm the cigarette in your hand, and then you pretend to put the cigarette in your mouth, which is of course for the audience, the cigarette is in this hand, but the cigarette naturally gets pumped, and you drop this hand by the side of the body, dish the cigarette into your pocket or wherever you want, and you pretend to just put the cigarette in your mouth. And once you go near your mouth and like imagine these are the lips, once you close your lips, you just open your hand and just see or make the people see that the cigarette has gone from this scenario. And that's how you're going to end that trick, and that's how you're going to explain that whenever you try to smoke a cigarette, you always buy one and you are unable to smoke one because ultimately the cigarette disappears and your money gets wasted. And that's a cool way of also saying like no smoking because it's injurious to health. And I hope that you enjoyed this amazing small trick and this video, and if you're new here, then consider subscribing because that is going to help me motivate and get amazing videos like this one for you guys. So thanks for watching and peace.